Well, thank you for joining us on a holiday. We're talking about retirement planning. It's a conversation that we first had sometime last month. It was very fruitful. We promised to continue the conversation. Many of you got in touch with us. And at the time, I was asking, with what you saved today, are you sure that you can retire comfortably? And I think we were all pretty truthful to ourselves and concluded that no. So we're continuing with what we can do to get back on track, because as we learned, it is never too late. So Mr. Paul Mante, who's Managing Director of EDC Investments Limited, is kind enough to return to have this conversation with us. But just a reminder, by way of the headlines and the realities that we face, we reminded you of this: 82% of pensioners earn less than 8,000 Ghana cedis a month. We know that SNIT, for instance, has said that 25% of Ghanaians earn 400 Ghana cedis or less, and this explains the low pensions. I was given less than 20,000 Ghana cedis after 32 years at GBC. Remember this issue of Mr. Mankwa also that we shared with you the first time. And this is a current one that's been trending. It's a church that's been sued. 6 pastors of Lighthouse Chapel sued church for failing to pay SNIT. There are so many lessons that we get to learn every day. There are people who retire only to realize that the pensions were not even paid after all. The point is, for many of us, SNIT is not even enough. We have to do extra on the other side. But imagine if SNIT wasn't paid at all. And that's why this conversation is rather very useful to all of us. So you can connect with us via Zoom, just as we did the last time. We'll activate the phone lines very early in this conversation so you can join us. Mr. Monte, good morning.
Good morning to you.
Happy holiday. Good to see you again.
Many thanks.
Yeah. Let's talk about what the current state of retirees from where you sit.
Yeah. Well, it's nothing to write home about for those who did not have a plan B. And you are right when you look at the statistics on retirement, on that interesting publication by Business and Financial Times. In fact, the details said that 52% of people who were on pension at the time of a publication were on a monthly pension of less than 500 cedis. 52%, more than half of all the people who were on pension at that time were getting less than 500 cedis a month. And I get these stories every day. People come to the office every day upset. Because you see, when they were working, they thought that retirement or pension is going to be automatic. I mean, once you pay in or your employer pays your monthly contribution, you're going to be good. It's at the point of retirement that the reality hits them. When you realize you've worked for 30 years and you're going to take home some small amount. But there's a man who came to my office who had worked for 35 years. 35 years and retired. And his lump sum was 10,500 cedis.
What do you do with 10,000?
With a monthly pension of 350 cedis a month. 350 a month. But of course, if you flip the coin, there are those who took the retirement planning conversation serious, and they have decent retirement. I mean, I have a number of clients like that who are on retirement, but who live on the return on their investment. You
know, something that inspired me from that conversation and from somebody who's retired. You remember telling the story of a man who earns 60,000
a month, yes,
and gave a call and said, send half to my account.
Pay 30,000.
I want to live on that.
Pay 30,000 every month. And I go like, 30,000 for what? Did you mean 3,000 or 30,000? He said 30,000. I said, but you're on retirement. He said, yes. My retirement plan is to spend 1,000 a day. So the 30,000 is for 30 days. And he's still my client. Today, he's taking 40,000 every month.
Wow.
And he is on retirement.
He's not working. He's not actively doing any work.
No, not at all. So you would find people who thought that the system would take care of them getting disappointed. And you would find people who were conscious and deliberate. The word is deliberate. Deliberate about planning for their retirement, having a great retirement. And some are lecturers. I know a lecturer who is having a good time. He's on retirement. The last time he came to the office, he came with a V8. Land Cruiser, and he's on retirement. You know, so if we take this conversation serious, you can have a great retirement, because you see, as you go through the journey of life, you will require planning at every stage, and the final stage will be retirement, when you are old and you don't have the energy to work and all that. So the reality does not look good for a number of people, but you have a few who got a message at a young age who are doing great at retirement.
So at the point when somebody has retired, as a financial planner, is there something you can do to help them?
Oh yes, when you have retired. So you see, retirement planning itself involves financial and non-financial aspect of a person's life. So on the financial side, what we do is to manage your assets for you, and we give you advice on the do's and the don'ts, what you shouldn't do, what you shouldn't get yourself into. And the non-financial aspect, we also advise you, even though we are guys into finance, we also advise you on the things that could possibly prolong your life and the things you need to avoid. Of course, we are not on retirement, but we've dealt with so many of them, and based on information we pick from our clients, we advise people who are on retirement. And a man came to my office who was on retirement, who had built up to 6 million cedis. 6 million cedis. And I said, 6 million, you don't have a problem. Because 6 million, if we get you even government securities, risk-free, and you get 18% interest average, that is going to give you a little over 1 million cedis every year. You divide that by 12, that is giving you something like 90,000 every month. So you don't have a problem. You've done well for yourself.
But I also remember saying that maybe these people that you deal with, these clients, are high, big-time people. They are like chief executives, managing directors. They're not like those of us who don't earn much anyway.
No, it's not a case. I also have people who are on retirement who were teachers, who were nurses, who have retired, who are having a great retirement. You see, the issue of these figures is also a function of our lifestyle. So sometimes people come, they say, I want you to help me plan for my retirement. And we go through the model. I ask simple questions like, if you are retiring today, how much money will give you a comfortable life? And they say 20,000 cedis. And then I ask them, how much do you earn today? It says 3,000. And you see a clear disconnect between their current lifestyle, their current income level, and the kind of pension or retirement they are looking at. You know, so there are people who are on retirement who are making 2,000 a month, 3,000 a month on investment, and they are excited. So let's not use the few isolated guys who will do more than 1 million. There are. Look, if you are on an income of, let's say, 3,000 a month, and you manage to build up to 300,000 in your lifetime. And 300,000, it's nothing difficult you cannot do if you pay attention to the basic things we are teaching here. If you are 300,000 and you can get that 18%, which is more like a risk-free, you are getting 54,000 a year.
Okay.
You divide that by 12, you are getting 4,500 a month. So if you're on an income of 3,000 and you retire and your side investment, this is not your regular pension, can give you 4,500. That is more than your salary.
Yeah.
It should be more than enough for you. So let's also be measured in our expectation.
Okay.
If you're earning 3,000, you shouldn't be talking about 20,000 or 30,000 because currently you are living your life based on the 3,000 you are earning today. You know.
Okay.
You know.
All right. So let's begin this conversation properly with you telling us what financial planning is all about.
Oh, so when we talk about financial planning, we're basically talking about you sitting down and asking yourself questions. Where do I find myself today? What are my income levels? Do I have any debt or liabilities? Do I have assets? So it's about current assessment of yourself, more like a computation of your net worth or your balance sheet, to know where you find yourself. What do I have? What do I owe? But that is just the beginning. Beyond that, then you ask yourself, where do I want to get to into the future? And you can plan for anything that is important to you, but I will always recommend 5 areas. Area number 1 on financial planning. Area number 1 is retirement plan, of course, the conversation we're having. Area number 2 is housing planning. Okay. You need a place to lay your head. And there are things people need to understand. You don't confuse dream house with the first house. A teacher, you want to buy you want to build a 7-bedroom house, you never finish. Area number 3 is children's education planning. Okay. I recommend that you are deliberate about that. Area number 4 is giving back. Giving back. I recommend that you plan to give back to make the lives of others better. This life is not all about accumulating. I said the other day, God does not bless us to become a reservoir. He blesses us to become a conduit of blessing. So it's about giving back, but plan for it. And area number 5 is what I call high life. You make money, you chop some. Enjoy life. Plan a vacation. This life is short. So don't be that kind of worker. Every day you are planning. Every day. You will never live until you die. One day the doctors will call you and they will tell you, the way things are going, don't eat salt again. Don't eat pepper. Don't eat sugar. When they ban you, you know that, Charlie, you are not far from the end. So I encourage our audience to also plan for high life. So these are 5 areas I will recommend. But I would say plan for anything that is important to you. So financial planning is basically knowing where you are and being clear where you want to get to and have a plan towards where you want to get to.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, tell us how that is connected to retirement proper.
Oh, so retirement is one leg of financial planning. And when we're talking about retirement, we're talking about getting to that stage where you would have to stop work, either by law or because you volunteer that, look, at this stage I cannot continue any longer. But in Ghana, retirement age is 60. So whether you like it or not, you get to age 60 and the system says you need to get out. So retirement planning is planning for your life after that 60 years or whatever age you have decided to retire. What do I want to do when it comes to finances? What kind of finances do I want to have after 60? When it comes to the non-financial, there are simple things like estate planning, having a will, thinking about what happens to you what happens to your assets when you are no more. It's all part of retirement planning. So retirement planning is seeing with your mind eye how you want your life to look like after 60 and beyond. Yeah.
All right. So realistically, how can a worker plan towards his or her retirement?
Realistically, there are about 2 ways of doing it. A simplistic approach is to say, I want to build a certain lump sum and live on the return on my lump sum. That is a very simplistic approach. So saying that, look, I want to make 1 million cedis in my lifetime. And when you hear 1 million cedis, it looks huge. It's not rocket science. You look at a worker who is 30 years today. Okay. 30 years today who says, I can do 300 cedis every month. Look at 300 cedis every month till age 60, which is 30 years from today. 300 in 30 years, I'm using 18%, compounded quarterly. You're looking at 3.9 million cedis. 3.9 million. 3.9 million. So a simplistic approach is to say that, oh, I want to build a certain lump sum. And when I retire, I will just live on the return on my lump sum. So this 3.9 million, if this person can continue to get, let's say, the risk-free of 18% on 3.9 million, that would give you something like 700,000 a year. Divided by 12, that is giving you over 50,000 every month. That is a bit on the high side. So that is a very simplistic approach. But a more technical approach, if people came to us, would be to drill down and ask questions. Things like your current age. So you pick somebody who is like 40 years today, who is retiring at age 60. We will ask for things like life expectancy. Of course, it's a difficult question, but we need to get into your family, your parents, your grandparents, your uncles.
To determine when you're likely to pass.
Exactly, yes. we need a proxy. We need to plan towards something. So let's use 85 for this 40-year-old guy.
Okay.
And we use some assumptions. Long-term interest rate after retirement of 15%. Long-term expected inflation. Let's do 10%. And the important question is, if you are retiring today, how much will give you a comfortable life? Let's use 3,000 for this 40-year-old guy. And you see, the inflation of 10% will give us the future value of the
4,000
of the 3,000. We're using 3,000
okay.
here, of the 3,000. But we'll also make provision for this future value to increase by 10% every year, from age 60 till age 85. Because remember, because of inflation, prices of goods and services will keep increasing year on year. So let's make provision for 10%. And then the final question, how much lump sum do you have at 40? Says 0, I don't have anything. Now we will also assume that we can get 18% per annum. Today, 18% per annum, compounded quarterly until age 60. If we did that for the 3,000, by the time this guy is 60 or this lady is 60, you're looking at something like 20,000 cedis for the 3,000 cedis today.
Okay.
With a 10% inflation. To maintain that the purchasing power of the 3,000, we're looking at 20,000 cedis.
Okay.
But the big question is, how much do you need to commit every month? For your 20,000 a month, increasing by 10% every year till age 85, and you're looking at 1,669.
Okay.
1,669 every month. And this guy is 40 already. I will change just one thing, assuming this guy had been 30 years, just 10 years younger. Let's keep the 20,000 monthly withdrawal and then 1,600 every month. 1,600 every month. If this guy had been 30 years today, just a bit younger, it changes the equation. From the 20,000, he will now be taking 52,000 a month from the 20, because now you're looking at 30 years time and not 20 years time. The 20,000 was the equivalent of the 3,000 in 20 years time, but he's 30. So in 30 years down, the 30 years time, the equivalent of the 3,000 using the inflation of 10% is going to be 52,000. But guess what? When we use the 40 years, he was going to contribute 1,600 a month. Now it reduces to 803 cedis a month. So the younger you are, the easier it becomes. But we haven't even made provision for any lump sum. Assuming this 30-year-old guy had a lump sum of 50,000 cedis, 50K, it changes the conversation completely. Then the monthly contribution is 94 cedis.
Oh.
94 cedis a month.
That's less than 100.
Yes. And you're looking at 52,000 cedis every month withdrawal from age 60, increasing by 10% every year till age 85. So you see, this conversation about retirement plan or financial plan, I have recommended that it must be part of orientation for new highs, whether in the public sector or private sector. Because when young people catch this at a younger age, they don't need a lot. They just something small, and they can have a decent retirement. Because you see, when somebody works with you for 20 years, 25 years, 15 years, they retire, and things are not looking good, people will also associate it with their employer. This guy worked for 20 years with this company, and today look at him. So business managers, HR managers must be interested in financial planning and training our staff to understand these basic things.
Yeah. So I want us to connect with our viewers pretty shortly, but I also want us to absorb a few things. So there's a big question of, where do I invest?
There are basically, for starters, there are two areas I would recommend. Government securities, risk-free, treasury bill, treasury bond, treasury note. These are risk-free. You can do government. But if you want something that will give you something slightly above government, then I'll recommend the collective investment schemes. But these are the mutual funds and the unit trust. Very simple. The whole idea is it's a fund, a regulated fund that is set up. You have a number of people pulling money together, and it's invested for all of them. So, for example, I have a fund that has about 100,000 people in it. Fund size about 2.2 billion. But you see, the biggest investor in the fund has about 40 million cedis. The smallest investor has 50 Ghana cedi. They are all in a pool, and investment is done collectively for them. They get the same interest rate, whether you have 40 million or 50 cedis or 100 cedis. If the rate is 20%, it's 20% for all of us.
Okay.
And the thing about the collective investment schemes is that they give you the flexibility. For example, I have a fund, the fixed income fund, the EcoBank fixed income fund, or the EDC fixed income fund. You need a minimum of 50 Ghana cedis to start. You can add money anytime you wish. You can even use Momo to be topping up. So I would recommend these two areas. For starters, you either do the government securities or go into a unit trust or a mutual fund. Because of the flexibility that comes with it, you can get in and out as often as you wish.
Okay, let's talk about this concept. And the reason we have this is because you guys keep telling us save little by little, and that of compounding. How does that also help towards your retirement?
Thank you. So you build up little by little. And the whole idea about compounding is that you allow interest to make interest. And you don't take the interest. So with more time, the interest also makes interest. And your money keeps growing.
Wait. The interest makes interest.
Yes. So let me explain. You start with 1,000 cedis. Let's make it very simple. You are making, let's use 18% per annum, just to make it very simple. So you are making 18% on 1,000 cedis. What it means is you are making 180 cedis a year. So you're looking at 1,000 cedis, and you are making 18%. That is 180 cedis. 180 cedis. But the following year, you are going to have your 1,000 plus the 180 cedis. Because you are not taking your interest of 180. So the next year, you are starting with 1,180. Remember, the first year interest is 180 cedis. But because now you are starting with 1,180, you are going to make more because now the base has become bigger. So in the second year, you are going to make, so we have 1,180 by 18%. You are going to make 212 cedis and not 180. Oh. You are going to make 212 cedis. With the 212 cedis, remember we had 1,180 cedis. So now you have 212 cedis plus 1,180. So you are starting the second year with the third year with 1,392 cedis. 1,392 cedis. The first year your interest was 180. Now in the third year, your interest is going to be 250 cedis. And not 180. So with time, the money keeps growing. Okay. John D. Rockefeller started working as a clerk, earning $3.75 per week. From this amount, he gave up to his church and saved 50 cents. It wasn't much, but it was a beginning. By the time he was 50, he was perhaps the richest man in the world. Little by little, the power of compounding. So look at a teacher, a nurse, a plumber, anybody listening to us who says, look, I can commit 200 cedis every month, 200 a month. If we use the 18% compounded quarterly, within 30 years, total amount invested is 72,000. The 200 every month is 72,000. But the interest on the 72,000 is 2.5 million. Because interest would make interest. So this guy would have invested 72,000, but will end up with 2.6 million. Somebody who does 500 cedis a month, in 20 years, 120,000 will cross 1 million. In 25 years, 2.5 million will be 150,000 will be 2.6 million. In 30 years, 180,000 will be 6.5 million. So interest makes interest. That's the whole concept, where you allow little by little and it keeps growing until it gets to a point where you cannot believe that you've made so much. Little by little. Imagine 500 cedis. If you were keeping it under your pillow, in 30 years, it's 180,000. But with the power of compounding, that 180,000 is 6.5 million. Of course, in 30 years, 6.5 million will not have the same purchasing power as it has today. But it's going to be something decent in 30 years.
And it's way better than keeping it under your pillow.
Exactly. And we are also assuming that you are contributing a fixed amount throughout the 30 years. When we know that with time, as salary increases, you could do more. And as you are doing more, the future value becomes bigger than the 6.5 million.
Fantastic. We'll come to some mistakes, money mistakes that those who have retired tend to make. But I want us to connect to our viewers right now. So if you're watching us, you can give us a call. You can join the Zoom link as well. There's the meeting ID and there's the passcode. Let's talk to William. William is in Bono East. Good morning, William.
Good morning, madam.
Yes, sir. Thanks for joining us. Let's hear you.
How are you doing?
Hello, William.
How are you doing?
Oh, I'm very well, thank you. Thanks for asking.
Yeah, you see, with these people, we've heard about them. Recently, I'll have to go to one of the insurance companies with X to catch them before getting my money. So,
William, you're talking insurance. Are you talking insurance? We're talking investments.
Yes, I'm talking about insurance.
Oh, okay. All right,
They will talk to you nicely. They will take your money. And when the time is due and you are going for it, a whole lot.
Okay.
A whole lot.
Do you have a specific investment question? I know what you're talking about, but I'm afraid we're not dealing with insurance. Do you get what I mean?
Yeah.
Okay. So if you've got a specific question, or if you want to ask, for instance, should you be paying attention to insurance or investments?
So with this investment, all what he's telling us is good. But the point is, when everything matures and you are going in for it, the intricacies is a lot.
Okay.
It's a whole lot.
Okay. All right.
If you are not careful, you will end up losing all the money. They won't give it to you.
I get your concern, and I think it's good that you raise it. Let's talk to Emmanuel. Emmanuel is in Osu. Good morning, Emmanuel.
Yeah, good morning, Mama V.
Yes, sir.
And how are you?
Oh, very well, thank you. What's the plan for the holiday?
Well, relaxing in the house.
Okay, that's nice. Let's hear you.
Thank you for the program, and I want to say I will plead with your station and both radio and television if you can keep this thing going on. Programs like this for we the youth, so that we can benefit from such programs. I listened to the part 1 and I'm listening to the part 2 and I'm taking some of the points and I'm pleading with your station to have a regular program like this for us. That's all I want to say.
Okay. Oh, Emmanuel, thank you very much for following this conversation. We'll come to taking your money back after it matures. I don't know if it works the same way as the insurance companies does with investment, does it?
No, it does not. I mean, I can't talk for the insurance companies, but I don't know what his experience is. I'll give you an example. Last year, for people who needed withdrawal from one of my funds, the fixed income fund, last year alone, we paid 730 million cedis.
How quickly do you do it?
Within 5 days.
Okay.
Within 5 days. Once you put in your request, and you can put in requests from any EcoBank branch. From any EcoBank branch, within 5 days, your account must be credited.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Rexford is also joined us. Rexford, where are you calling us from? Hello, Rexford? I'm afraid we've lost Rexford, but kindly call us back. Now, let's get to those who are joining us via Zoom. Zoom, Solomon will be the first. Kindly unmute, and if you're not talking, please do not unmute. So, Solomon, unmute, and let's hear you. Okay, let's do Christopher. Good morning, Christopher. Kindly unmute and speak to us.
Good morning, Mama V.
Yes. Good morning.
Yeah. Good morning.
Yes, good morning. We can hear you,
Please, can
Christopher.
you hear me?
Go ahead. Yes, loud and clear.
I want to ask your guest if somebody is having 10 more years to go for retirement, how much can the person contribute? And what will be his benefits at the end of the retirement? That's my question.
Can I ask you one in return? How much would you be comfortable putting on the side?
I said...
How much would you be comfortable contributing yourself?
Assuming 200 Ghana cedis.
Okay, all right. Okay, Christopher, thank you very much. But are you on other pension schemes?
Yes, yes.
Okay, great.
Christopher.
Can we take a number of them so that we can come back and address? Do I still do Zoom? I know there are people holding on the phone. Okay. Shame, it's on Zoom. Kindly unmute and let's hear you. Shame, kindly unmute. I can't hear you. Please unmute.
Hello, can you hear me now?
Yes, I can hear you. Just speak up a little bit for us.
Okay. If I join investment, am I going to receive a periodic statement? And aside, if the time is due, how long will it take to receive my benefit?
Okay.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you very much. Let's see who else. Solomon, you are back. Kindly unmute on Zoom and let's have a conversation. What's your question or comments?
Yeah, good morning, Mama V.
Yes, good morning, Solomon.
Please, I'm Solomon calling from Pristia. We about 2 weeks ago, I joined you on the same network, where by one of the EcoBank branch personnel educate us on this same plan for our future retirement. And one statement he made was, salary is medicine. I enjoyed that particular program. And today you are giving us another wonderful one. Please, my interest is in the collective investments. We, the young ones coming up, we want to plan for our future. So I would like the facilitator to take us through again on the collective investment. I am interested.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
All right. Thank you very much, Solomon. Let's see. We're going to take 2 more people and then we'll come up and address the concerns. Mr. Sechi David on Zoom, kindly unmute and let's hear you. Sechi David? Hello? Okay, I think there are some challenges with the network. That's to be expected. Let's try again. Mr. Sechi David, can you hear me? Okay, so there's an issue with the network on your side. We'll try and reconnect. Let's speak to Stephen on phone. Stephen is in Bolga. Good morning, Stephen.
Good morning, Mama V.
Yes, Stephen. How are you?
Well, I'm doing well. And you?
Oh, I'm very well, thank you.
Thank you. It's a very good program, but the problem is that as you talk nicely and we are interested to join, after the end of it, if you want to follow for your retirement package or your money, it will be here and there. Go and bring these documents, do this, do this, do this. In fact, it's a very program, but at times it's very, very serious.
You sound like you have an experience. Have you had any experiences?
Yes. I had an experience with Donwell Insurance. So I joined them. After the end of it, they frustrate me. Even had it not been the manager, I should have left the money with them.
Okay, so I just wanted to make one thing clear. What we are discussing is quite different from insurance.
Okay.
I get it. I mean, you've had an experience there, so you should be concerned. This conversation is towards, long-term investment towards your retirement, an additional investment that you can make on the side. But of course, my guest is here. He will address the issue of how soon, if you were to invest with them. He's just coming from a particular place, but he's speaking broadly to what we can put our investment into. So the 2 main sources that you talk about, you have to also tell us if it works the same way in terms of when you want to get your money back. So, Stephen, thank you very much. Jude is in Soto. Good morning, Jude.
Hello, good morning.
Yes, hi, Jude. Thanks for holding. Let's hear you.
Yeah, I want to find out from the gentleman, I think he's the manager of CDC. And the examples that he was giving was all about earning around 3,000. What about the people that are earning below that? Let's say 500, between 500 and 1,000 Ghana cedis a month, and then practically taking out their transportation, their food. Some are married, school fees paying. How much can they save?
Okay, so Jude, let's personalize this conversation, and that's why we decided to do a part 2. Specifically speak to the issue of around what figure do you earn today? If you do all your takeaways, TNT, whatever, how much do you think you'll be able to save? Then you can speak directly to your specific situation. You get what I mean?
Okay.
Yes. So around what figure? Hello, Jude?
Yes. Okay. So let's say
say 700?
200 cedis.
How much?
200 cedis.
Okay, is that 200 what you can save after you make all the deductions?
Yes.
Okay, all right. Okay, thanks, Jude. He will address that. Let's go to Keta. Righteous is in Keta. Good morning, Righteous.
Good morning, Mama. How are you?
Very well, thank you, sir. Let's hear you.
Actually, I have an investment account with EcoBank. That's Edu account.
Okay.
And I might say their product is very good. So, actually, I was a contributor. But when I need my money, just take me easy 3 or 4, 5 days. I had my money without any difficulties.
You have difficulties withdrawing? Is that what you said?
Getting the money back.
Okay.
So I'm only encouraging the public that
got it in 3 days without any difficulty.
Oh, you said you got it in 3 days without any difficulty. Is that what you're saying?
3 or 4 days, also, if I'm not mistaken.
All right. Okay.
So I encourage the public to also, most of them should invest in their product.
Okay. We hear you.
All right.
Thank you for sharing your experience. The fact, though, is that we're not talking about EcoBank. He just happens to come from that. But, it's an experience that you shared. So we're glad to hear it. Let's go to Zoom now. And then let's take some more. Dubik, kindly unmute and let's hear you.
Good morning, Mama V.
Yes, good morning.
Yeah, we appreciate your program you are doing this morning for us. Good morning, Mama.
Well, thank you.
Yeah, we appreciate your program you are doing this morning for us. We are learning a lot from it. But I want to know from the host. I'm contributing 150 Ghana cedis every month in an investment company.
Put in how much? 100?
150.
Okay.
Yeah, in an investment company. I'm a teacher.
Okay.
A mutual fund. I want to know if in 30 years' time, how much can I earn?
Okay. All right. Okay. Thank you very much. We have very limited time, so can we take one more? I'm afraid with Frank. Hello, Frank. Kindly unmute and let's hear you.
Hello.
Yes, hi, Frank.
Yes, please. In this particular economy that we are, I just want a specific company or investment pool that we can commit our funds in it and we will never be disappointed.
Okay. All right. Okay, Frank, thank you very much. Now, I want us to address the questions. I'm afraid this is all the questions that we can take for now because we want to use the rest of the 5 minutes that we have to address. So we have Christopher asking if he were to save 200 Ghana cedis for the next 10 years.
Christopher, 200 for the next 10 years. And it's important to make it clear. I'm not using the rate for any investment product. I'm just using an average interest rate. Because rate will change from year to year. Okay. So I'm just using an average of 18% just for the purposes of our discussion.
Okay.
Really, my idea is for people to understand the concept of little by little, but not to be selling a rate or an investment product, not necessarily. So if you did 200 for 10 years, using 18% compounded quarterly, you're looking at 64,000.
Okay.
64,000. But you see, let me add that if you did that, 24,000 giving you 64,000 in 10 years. In 20 years, you have 48,000 giving you 437,000.
Oh, wow.
In 20 years. In 30 years, you have 72,000 giving you 2.6 million.
Okay.
The same 200 cedis. So the thing is, the younger you are, the easier it becomes. Chairman, will I receive periodic investment?
The payments?
Chairman was asking about periodic statement and how long it takes to redeem. So for treasury bills, if you bought treasury bills from your bank will give you statement on the treasury bill. When it comes to investment outside government securities, most financial institutions will give you monthly statement, but I cannot talk for them. I can talk for a company I manage. We do monthly statement for all our clients. Okay. So you get monthly statement, you need your money, it shouldn't take more than 5 working days. Jude from Soto, people who earn 500 to 1,000, how can they save after paying their transportation and all that?
Yeah.
He ended up using the 200 cedis.
Exactly.
But what I want to tell Jude and tell others who are in the situation of Jude, don't invest after spending.
Okay. But you can't help TNT. You have to take it out.
Yes, you have to take it out. But my advice is that invest before you spend. Because you see, and I mentioned this the other day on this show, the Parkinson law states that, look, as human beings, as salary increases, we'll always adjust our lifestyle to match the salary. So Jude earning 700 cedis says it's not enough. But you meet somebody who earns 5,000 cedis who will also say it's not enough because of the lifestyle. So I recommend the 10-20-70 principle. Pay your tithe of 10%, you believe in tithing, you don't give 10% to society. But 20% of whatever you earn, minimum 20% must go into investment. And let the investment go before you start spending. Okay. So if you know you are paid on the 28th, you set up your standing order. Standing order is basically giving your bank instruction to say that on a particular day, move so much into investment. So automate it, because whether you invest or not, the salary will not be enough.
Okay. All right. There was the 150 for a teacher for the next 30 years.
150 for a teacher, and again, I'm using 18% for the next 30 years. You're looking at 1.9 million.
Okay. Solomon, the collective investments.
Solomon from Prestia, he said there was a quotation he liked. The quotation was, salary is the medicine for managing poverty. It does not cure it. Only a business or investment cures poverty. But not all of us can run a business, but everybody can invest. Collective investment scheme, like the name sounds, these are investment schemes that are done collectively for a number of people. It must be licensed and regulated. So you would have 100,000 people in one pool, and investment is done for all of them. Everybody. The beautiful thing is interest is calculated on a daily basis. You get your monthly statement. Anytime you want to add money, you can add money. And anytime you want to take money out, you can take money out. So that is simply what the collective investment scheme is. Okay. It's either a mutual fund or a unit trust. They are all collective investment schemes.
Okay. Somebody asked if you could give recommendations.
Yes, I recommended government securities, treasury bill, treasury bonds. Out of government securities, I can only talk on a product that is directly under my management, the EDC Fixed Income Fund. You walk into an EcoBank branch, you can get that. Okay.
Because we don't have time left, I want you to touch on the money mistakes to avoid during retirement.
Yes. So there are a number of money mistakes to avoid during retirement. One is being idle during retirement. When you retire, you are just home. You are not active. Your health is likely to deteriorate, and you have to spend money on your health. So that is money mistake number one. Money mistake number two is spending too much too soon. You get a lump sum and you are all over the place. Very soon, you should know that once you retire, you're not going to be getting salary. If you're on a pension, then you get some monthly pension. So don't be in a hurry to spend too much too soon. Mistake number 3 is committing retirement fund into a capital-intensive project. You retire, you say, I'm going into farming. You retire, you say, I'm going into real estate. It's a money mistake because, you see, when you are 60 and above, that is not the time to take risk. You need to be conservative at that time, else the money will go and not come back. Money mistake number 4 is depending on your children. When you have retired and you want to depend on your children, because you may be very disappointed. Mistake number 5 is living in a huge mansion. If you can afford it, great. If you are the average, you don't make that mistake, because it comes with high maintenance costs. It comes with high utility costs. So don't retire and go and live in a huge house. If we can see the slide, if technical team, if
a director,
yeah, no, go down. Let's see. Yes, don't retire and go and live in a house like this. You will use all your pension to be buying electricity credit and maintaining the house. Move down, retire, move down, and live in a house like this. This is a 3-bedroom house. 3-bedroom house. So this is another money mistake. I met a couple, I think in Maryland. I had a breakfast with a couple who were on retirement. I wanted to pay. They said, no, we'll handle it. I said, but you're on retirement? They said, yes, we're on retirement, but we're living good. And they shared the concept of downsizing. So they retired, they sold their big house, very big house. They sold it. They bought a small 3-bedroom house. They made good money off the property. And they are living on the profit they made. So assuming they sold the house for $800,000, bought a house for about $350,000, $400,000, they made money and they are living on that money. They are living good. Another money mistake is having many cars. When you are in retirement, high risk investment, no estate planning. People retire and they don't have a will. What happens to your hard work when you are no more must matter to you. The fact that you have a will does not mean you are going to die tomorrow. So it's another money mistake that people need to avoid. Maybe
we need a money mistake as a whole conversation. So what you say we continue with this series sometime, because it's obviously very helpful to us.
Yes, but I wanted 30 seconds for our viewers to see that retirement table.
Okay.
There is a retirement table. Director, if you can project it for us. So once you see the retirement table, go up, please. You would find good. Yes, this one. Look at that. Almost everybody watching this show will find your year of birth on this table. Watch it carefully. Once you find your year of birth, next to it you'll find your age.
Oh, I have.
Okay. Once you find your age, next to
my
it,
God.
you will see the number of years you are left to retire. And once you see the number of years you are left to retire, next to it, you would see the number of salaries you are left to take before you retire.
Oh my God.
That is on condition that you have a job till age 60.
Oh my God.
Locate yourself.
It's getting close. Hey. So what am I supposed to do after I see this?
It's supposed to bring that consciousness that you don't have a lot of time.
Okay.
So you need to take steps. You don't procrastinate. There are some who listened to the last show.
Yeah.
And they were like, I need to act.
I did too.
But nothing has happened.
Yeah.
I want you to have sleepless nights.
This has got my attention. Thank you, Mr. Paul Kofi Mante, for this conversation. Amazing. There are people who keep asking where they can find you. They can find you at
EcoBank. If you want to invest, you go to any EcoBank branch, you can do that. But I'm in the EcoBank head office.
Okay.
I've had a number of people coming in after the last show.
Can we give your number out, though? Because there are people who will still call us here. We will think about that, but thank you so much. Enjoy the holiday. Thank you for spending a bit of it with us. We have another very important conversation, task payer identification number. There are a number of changes going on, and if you don't take care, your business can't smoothly go through. So on a holiday like this, when all of us are home, this is another conversation for you to pay attention to. If you don't have a Ghana card, there are many things that I'm afraid you will not be able to do. So this next conversation is for all of us to pay attention to. You're still watching the M Show. Stay with us.